Hey there guys, it's been a long time I know, but I really haven't been in the passion of making videos right now, so a quick update I could actually tell you about is my new controller. So I got a new controller, pretty much simple as that. It's a Logitech F310, and it's probably one of the best purchases I've ever made. Because this thing, as you can see, it's an Xbox replica controller with a PlayStation 3, how would you call it, style I guess. So the analogs are down here, but the buttons are those of an Xbox 360. As you can see, AXYB, these are the triggers over here and the bumpers too. And of course has a guide button, cleverly titled Logitech. It's like, in your face, Logitech. Back and start button, and it's also got a mode button, which is actually really useful. I initially wanted to get a controller with an analog up here. I was actually thinking of buying an official Xbox 360 controller. But this thing was cheaper and it pretty much seemed like it fit my taste. So right now, as you can see, this is the analog stick, works pretty fine. This is the D-pad. It's a bit clunky at first, but you get used to it. Well, the D-pad is actually not bound to the controller. As you can see, it's actually coming out a bit. Quite a bit. I would say, in fact, half the analog stick. So if we were to press this, the mode button, now this is my D-pad. This is my analog, and now this is my D-pad. It's actually really useful for gaming since this thing feels so natural once you get attached to it. But the only downside I can find to this is that the analog stick does not actually feel good as a D-pad. You want to select something and you accidentally end up using both your items or selecting multiple items, which actually results in you selecting something you don't want. But anywho, the case regardless, it's a pretty good controller. It's also got trigger-based buttons, as I said already. It's not like a solid button. You can actually hold it down. Let's see, the bumpers feel a bit weird at first. They're so small. Can you see this? Here is the bumper. It's just so small. I had such a hard time getting used to this, but the rest feels great. So you might actually ask yourself, well, why would you actually buy such a controller? Don't you already have a good controller for your whatever? Well, if you would, let me just wipe out the other controller. So this is my out controller. It's a Trustmaster Duo Action or Duo Analog 3 or something, and it's a pretty basic controller. As you can see, an 8-way D-pad again. The analog sticks feel good, but not as good as the other one. The buttons on the side are solid, which means you cannot hold them down. You can just press them. They don't feel as natural as this one, or as a PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 one. It's also got another minus, that it doesn't have a guide button. This one does. You might ask yourself, why do you need a guide button for? It's a controller. You're not going to win an Xbox. Well, this controller is actually endorsed by Steam. The F310, the 510, and the 710 are all Logitech controllers. And Steam Big Picture recommends using one of those if you're having a hard time deciding which controller to use. Why? Because they're actually really easy to use, and they're really easy to configure too. The Logitech controller came with its own software for manually binding keys if I didn't like it, which, by the way, it has two modes, the D and X modes. So X stands for XInput, aka Xbox controller, and D stands for direct input. Over here, as you can see, you can actually toggle between these with this. And if you use direct input, that means you can bind your own keys to whatever you like. If you use the XInput, it's going to use the default X360 controller scheme. So my out controller is it's not a bad one, but as you probably saw, the right analog is a bit missing. This thing over here, it just hurts your finger every time you press it. It's like, especially when I have to hold it down. On the back, it has two buttons, which actually I find really useful. More controllers should do this. This is the select and start button. It's actually really easy to use them when they're on the back. With this one, I'm actually having a hard time struggling between these. I'm like, is this the mode button, is this the select button, or the back button? Sorry, still attached to the PS3, and the start button is a bit too far for my taste, but it's all good. So again, you might be asking yourself, why would you buy a controller like that if you're just playing on your computer? Well, I'm not just playing on my computer. In fact, I got a new TV. It's an LG 42-inch Smart TV Plasma. It's got 3D support, and it's pretty cool when you just want to lay back in your couch and relax a bit. So yeah, that's the reason I got it. And again, like I said, Steam officially supports these controllers as their own. So let me just switch back to Steam. A friend of mine just invited me, but sadly we're going to disregard that for now. So with a simple press of the guide button, we actually launch Big Picture. And now that we're in Big Picture, I can actually show you how this controller performs. If I can actually capture both of them, because one of my hands is currently holding the phone. Like, hello. So let's just go to the controller, and as you can see, it says detected controller XInput compatible controller. So that means I cannot redo the bindings because it's currently detected as an Xbox controller. If I switch to the DInput, by the way, I can rebind them. So it's easy as that, really. It's a pretty useful thing if you want to play on your TV, and I would love to show the TV, like, oh, it's 1080p gloriness, but sadly the monitor is it's better captured with a phone up close because I don't really have to sit in the middle of the room. Well, I would like to actually relax back on the couch again and just, record that. I do not have the current possibility to do it. Shitty camera. So I have cleverly titled one of my categories is Big Picture mode, and I currently do not have all the games I play here. Those are just like a couple example ones that I would use, and my friend keeps inviting me for Left 4 Dead, but I cannot right now. So for now I have only Mark of the Ninja installed and this one, which is a non-Steam game. I just added it on there, but again, it's so useful to play on your couch and be able to chat with your friends. So let's just start Mark of the Ninja, for example. And as you can see, for instance, right there, it says one of my friends was playing. If I actually click the guide button, it will actually take me to him. So when we're in the game, I can easily toggle Big Picture mode. I can enable the overlay now. And now I can use everything that I like from my Steam without having to move my mouse at all. So just the controller now. So I could also use some useful links from here, for example, the game hub page, downloadable content, forums, related groups. I could also exit the game from here. So if I click exit anyway, it's gonna exit the game immediately. It's like you're pressing out an F4. This friend of mine will not give up. Anyway, let's just move on to the Friends Hub just to show you how easy it is to chat. You just open the daisy wheel. Again, this is really easy to use once you get the hang of it, but it's best used with two hands, and I currently do not have them. So I'm just going to type hi to my friend, Sufi. Hi. Not his. I should really enable autocorrect. There we go. And then I just sent the message, and let's see, my friend is playing Kerbal Space Program. Well, let's just go toggle to him. It's so easy. Everything is made so easy too. There's also the browser, and you can, again, just imagine playing this in a 42-inch monitor. I would really love to show it to you with my phone. The quality, I've already tried it, it's horrible. You would barely see anything. So yeah, the controller, it's a pretty solid buy. The only downside I have with it, like I said already, is the analog sticks, and I guess if I have to be picky, the bumpers are a bit small. Seriously, this thing is small. I mean, my finger can fit on it. Why is it so small? Anyway, let's just exit the game from here. And let me just show you the final feature that I have planned to show in this video, that is. Just first return Steam to desktop. You might ask yourself, well, you're playing it on a TV or something, why would you want to play on the desktop? Jesus, what? Suddenly popular. Did people just realize I'm making a video? So anyway, I've used XPatter actually to modify the controller to act as a mouse and keyboard, some buttons. But I cannot do that because it's currently on the XInput. If I switch to direct input, and it's now officially using custom bindings. And I've bound it so that the mouse is my left analog, and now I can actually show you the D-pad easily. As you can see, fluent control over it, much like it's a regular analog. Let's just switch between these. Yeah, it's pretty useful. Even when I'm on the TV, I just want to go to my regular browser or something. The only thing I'm having problems with is using the keyboard when I'm on it. And the solution that I found is actually I found a on-screen keyboard in the computer, so I could just use this and I could type to people. Like, I'll type Sufi again, and I'll tell him, hi. Because why not? You could pretty much fondle with those configurations yourself as much as you like. He's taking everything too serious. And let me just close this now. I really haven't figured out the sensitivity to use for this, but again, you know, hey, stupid thing crashed. No, seriously, did it crash or what? Or I guess I just can't close it right now. Well, this is a function I would actually like to fix. Anywho, I would actually like to show you this. The last thing is how I configured my controller. So right now, as you can see, the left analog is the mouse, and the stick is actually the mouse wheel. So it's like pressing the M3 button. While this is just the scroll, and on some web page will probably be useful, but I don't really care. And this is mouse 1 and mouse 2 respectively, because you know, you can just use the left and right mouse button. For instance, click this, or maybe I want to right click something like so. So yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't really like to entitle it as a review, although I would actually like to give this controller a grade. It's actually really good. I recommend buying it. It's only €25, might be even less in your own region, or might be more, I don't know. But if you have an option between this and some other controller, buy this. If you have more money that you'd like to spend on a controller, I would personally recommend you spend them on one of the next generations of this controller. I would literally pass the 510 because I don't care about the vibration. But if you have like $100 to spend or something, or I think it's even less, the F710 is incredible. It has a vibration mode that's on as well, and it's got a wireless, most importantly, wireless controller. You just plug the USB in your computer, and there you go, controller recognized. Really solid purchase, really good job Logitech. This is Music for the Win. I'm signing out.